Yeah. Hello to everyone. Today my agenda to deal here one of the Act Foreign Exchange Management Act 1999. Okay, right. What is the future of what is the futures of this Act Foreign Exchange Management Act 1999? Okay, right. To regulation of transactions between between residents and non-residents, right? Investments in India by non-residents and overseas investments by Indian residents. Okay, next freely permissible transactions on current account subject to reasonable restrictions that may be imposed. Okay, this is one of the future. This is next RBI control over capital current transactions. Next, requirement by realization of export proceeds and repatriation to India. Okay, dealing in foreign exchange through authorized persons like authorized dealer, money changer, offshore banking unit. Okay, next adjudication and compounding of offences. Next, investigation of offences by Directorate of Enforcement. Next, appeal provisions including special direct appeals and appellate tribunal. Okay, what are the futures of this act? What are the futures of Foreign Exchange Management Act? What are the futures? Those futures are, one is first future regulation of transactions between residents and non-residents. That is first future. Second, investments in India by non-residents and overseas investments by Indian residents. Next, freely permissible transactions on current accounts subject to reasonable restrictions that may be imposed. Next, fourth future, RBI control over capital account transactions. Next, requirement for realization of export proceeds and repatriation to India. Next, dealing in foreign exchange through authorized dealers like authorized dealer, money changer, offshore banking unit. Next, adjudication and compounding of offences, right? Investigation of offences by Directorate of Enforcement. Appeal provisions including special direct appeals and appellate tribunal. These are all the features of this Act, Foreign Exchange Management Act 1999. Okay, who are the enforcing the Foreign Exchange Management Act? Here, one authority is formed, that is enforcement of Directorate of Enforcement formed for enforcing of this Foreign Exchange Management Act, right? Next, here broad structure of FEMA. FEMA total 7 chapters. Okay, total 7 chapters. First chapter regarding preliminary. Second one is regulation and management of foreign exchange. Third one about authorized person. Fourth chapter about contravention and penalties. Fifth chapter about adjudication and appeal. Sixth chapter about Directorate of Enforcement. Seventh chapter consists of miscellaneous. So, Foreign Exchange Management Act 1919, the chapter is the act is divided into 7 chapters. Okay, first chapter regarding preliminary, second chapter regarding regulation and management of foreign exchange, third chapter regarding authorized person, fourth chapter regarding contravention and penalties, fifth chapter regarding adjudication and appeal, sixth chapter regarding Directorate of Enforcement, seventh chapter miscellaneous. Okay, right. Now, what is the preamble and extent and application of what is the commencement of this FEMA? Okay, this act aims to consolidate and amend the law relating to foreign exchange with the objective of facilitating external trade and payments and for promoting the orderly development and maintenance of foreign exchange market in India. Okay, what is the main aim of this act? What is the main aim of this act? The main aim is to facilitating the external trade and payment and for promoting the orderly development and maintenance of foreign exchange market in India. Okay, what is the aim of this act? The first aim is facilitating external trade and payments and for promoting the orderly development and maintenance of foreign exchange in India. Okay, right. This act is applicable to all India. Okay, this act is applicable to all India, right? Next, here, next definitions. What are the definitions? We know here what is adjudicating authority, what is appellate tribunal, what is authorized person, what is capital account transaction, what is currency notes, what is current account transactions, what is export. Okay, what is foreign currency, what is foreign exchange, what is foreign security, what is import, What is person includes, okay, what is PRA, person resident in India, what is person resident outside India, okay, what is repatriate to India, what is security, what is service, what is transfer. Okay, these are all the definitions. So first, adjudicating authority, so means an officer authorized under this act. Next, appellate tribunal. Appellate tribunal means appellate tribunal for exchange for foreign exchange established under this act. Next, authorized person means an authorized dealer, money changer, offshore banking unit, or any other person for the timing in post authorized under this act. Next, current account, capital account transaction. What is a capital account transaction? Capital account transaction means a transaction which alters the assets or liabilities, including contingent liabilities outside India of persons resident in India, or assets or liability in India of persons resident outside India, and includes, okay, right, this is a capital account transaction. Next, current account transaction. Next, currency. What is currency? Currency includes all currency notes. Okay, postal notes, postal orders, money orders, checks, drafts, traveler checks, letters of credit, bills of exchange, and promissory notes, credit cards. Okay, credit cards or such other similar instruments. Okay, here currency notes. Currency notes means and includes cash in the form of coins and banknotes. Okay, right. Now, what is current account transaction? Current account transaction means other than a capital account transaction, and with prejudice to the generality of the following such a transaction includes, okay, payments in due in connection with the foreign trade, other current business, services, and short-term banking and credit facilities in the ordinary course of business. Okay, what are the payments done in the ordinary course of business that comes under current account transaction? Next, payments due as interest on loans and as net income for from investments. Okay, payments due as interest on loans and net income from investment, those are all considered current account transaction. Next, remittances for living expenses of parents, spouse, children residing abroad, that one also considered current account transaction. Next, and expenses in connection with the foreign travel, education, and medical care of parents, spouse, children, these are all related to current account transaction. Okay, next, what is export, the taking out of India to a place outside India, any goods. So any goods or services export to outside India. Okay, provision of services from India to any other than Indian currency. Provision of services from India to any other outside India, that is export. Next, foreign currency means any currency other than Indian currency, that is foreign currency. Foreign exchange means deposits, credits, balances payable in any foreign currency. Whatever payment, whatever transaction in terms of in foreign currency other than Indian currency, that is foreign exchange. Okay, right. Drafts or traveler checks, letters of credit, or bills of exchange expressed or drawn in Indian currency but payable in any foreign currency. So this is foreign exchange. Drafts or travelers checks, letters of credit, or bills of exchange drawn by banks, institutions, or persons outside India but payable in Indian currency. Okay, this is a foreign exchange. Next, foreign security means any security in the form of shares, stocks, bonds traded in foreign currency, that is foreign security. Okay, import means bringing any goods or services bringing to India, that is import. Next, person, so income tax definition, person, individual, HUF, okay, company, firm, association of persons, artificial judicial person, any agency, office, or branch owned or controlled by such a person, right? Next, person, PRA, a person residing in India for more than 182 days during the course of the preceding financial year, but does not include a person a person who has gone out of India or who stays outside India in either case for or on taking up employment outside India, or for carrying on outside India a business or vocation outside India, or for any other purpose in such circumstances as would indicate his intention to stay outside India for an uncertain period. Right. A person who has come to or stays in India in either case otherwise than for or taking up employment in India, or for carrying on in India a business or vocation in India, or for any other purpose in which such circumstances as would indicate his intention to stay in India for an uncertain period. Okay, person resident in India, regarding this one, any person, any person or body corporate registered or incorporated in India, an office, branch or a agency in India owned or controlled by a person resident outside India. Okay, an office or branch or agency outside India owned or controlled by a resident in India. Okay, any office, branch or agency in India owned or controlled by a person resident outside India. So it can be considered as PRA. PROA other than PRI, that is a PROA, we know. Repatriate to India, so means bringing into India the realized foreign exchange and the selling of such foreign exchange to an authorized person in India. In exchange for rupees, or the holding of realized amount in account with an authorized person in India to the extent notified by Reserve Bank. It includes use of realized account for discharge of debt or liability denominated in foreign currency, foreign exchange, and expression repatriation shall be continued accordingly. Next, what is security? What is security? Security means sales, stocks, bonds, and debentures, government securities. Okay, those are all government securities as defined in the Public Act 1944. Savings certificates to which government savings certificates. Okay, these are all security. Next, service. Service means service of any description which is made available to potential users and includes the provision of facilities in connection with banking, financing, insurance, medical assistance, legal assistance, chit fund, real estate, transport, processing, supply of electrical or other energy, okay, boarding or lodging or both, entertainment, amusement, or perviewing of news or other information, but does not include the rendering of any service free of charge or under a contract of personal service. This is regarding service. Next, transfer. Transfer includes sale, purchase, exchange, mortgage, gift, lien, possession. Okay, any other form of transfer of right, title, everything. This is a transfer. Now, right. This is definitions. Okay. Next, what is regulation and management of foreign exchange? What is regulation and management of foreign exchange? Dealing in foreign exchange. Dealing in foreign exchange. Okay. Uh, Deal in or transfer any foreign exchange or foreign security to any person not being an authorized person. Make any payment to or for the credit of any person resident outside India in any manner. Okay. Receive otherwise than through an authorized person any payment by order on behalf of any person resident outside India in any manner from any place outside India, then such a person shall be deemed to have received such a payment otherwise than through an authorized person. Next, enter into any financial transaction in India as consideration for or in association with acquisition or creation or transfer of a right to acquire any asset outside India, any asset outside India by any person. Okay, right. Here, some example regarding suppose dealing in foreign exchange. Okay, dealing in foreign exchange. A non-resident comes to India and would like to sell 1000 US dollar to his friend uh, who is uh, who is a resident in India. Okay, the friend offers him a rate better than the banks, so this cannot be done as would amount to dealing in foreign exchange. Okay, everything whenever we exchange the foreign exchange or else conversion of foreign currency to Indian currency or else Indian currency to foreign currency, please do with authorized dealer. Don't do with other than authorized dealer. Okay. Right, exchange pertaining to class. NRA brother has an insurance policy in India. He requests his Indian brother to pay insurance premium. This will amount to payment for the credit of non-resident. This is not permitted, we know. Next, a foreign tourist comes to India and he takes food at a restaurant. So he would like to pay 20 US dollar in cash to the restaurant. The restaurant cannot accept cash. It will be a receipt otherwise than through authorized person. So the restaurant will have to take a money changes license to accept foreign currency. Next example, another example, transactions covered by this subsection are known as Avala transactions. Okay, an Indian resident gives 70,000 in cash to an Indian dealer for this transaction. The brother in Dubai will get 1000 US dollar from a Dubai dealer. The two dealers may settle the transactions later. However, for the two brothers, this transaction is not permitted. Right. Next, holding of foreign exchange. Holding of foreign exchange, that is a regulation management of foreign exchange. So holding of foreign exchange. So next, current account transactions. Okay, yeah. Here we know in Foreign Exchange Management Act, so some current account transactions. So some current account transactions require approval from central bank, central government. Some current account transactions require from approval from RBI. So some are freely permitted, some are prohibited. Okay, we know here. A transaction for which a travel of foreign exchange is prohibited. So remittance out of lottery winnings, this is prohibited. Remittance of income from racing or riding or any other hobby, this is prohibited. Remittance for purchase of lottery tickets banned or prescribed magazines, football fools, sweepstakes, that is prohibited. Payment of commission on exports made towards equity investment in joint ventures, wholly owned subsidiaries abroad of Indian companies. Okay. Right. Remittance of dividend by any company to which the requirement of dividend balancing is applicable, that is prohibited. Here total 8 items. Payment of commission on exports under rupee state credit route except commission up to 10% of invoice value of exports of tea and tobacco. Payment related to callback services of telephones. Remittance of interest income on funds held in non-resident special rupee scheme. So these are all prohibited transactions regarding Schedule 1. Okay, next Schedule 2, transactions which require prior approval of Government of India for withdrawal of foreign exchange. Okay, in case of cultural truths, in case of foreign exchange withdrawal in from regarding cultural tools, so in such case Ministry of Human Resources Department, so Department of Education and Culture, so permission from Ministry of Human Resource Development is required. Next, advertisement in foreign print media for the purpose other than promotion of tourism, foreign investments and international bidding by state government and its public sector, so exceeding $10,000 in case of international bidding. So permission from Ministry of Finance, Department of Economic Affairs. Next, remittance of right of vessel chartered by a public sector undertaking, so Ministry of Surface Transport, permission is required from Ministry of Surface Transport. Next, payment of import through ocean transport by a government department or a public sector undertaking on a cost insurance freight basis. So Ministry of Surface Transport, permission is required from Ministry of Surface Transport. That is a chartering wing. Next, multimodal transport operators. We know multimodal transport operators making remittance to their agents abroad. So registration certificate from the Director General of Shipping is permission is required from registration certificate from the Director General of Shipping. Next, remittance of hiring charges of transporters by TV channels, by internet service providers. So Ministry of Information and Broadcasting, Ministry of Communication and Information Technology required. Next, remittance of container detention charges exceeding the rate prescribed by Director General of Shipping, Ministry of Surface Traffic, that is the central government. Remittance of prize money or sponsorship of sports activity abroad by a person other than international, national, state level sports bodies if the amount involved exceeds $1 lakh. So Ministry of Human Resource Development, permission from Ministry of Human Resource Development. Next, remittance for membership of P&I club, so Ministry of Finance, that is insurance division. Next, Schedule 3. So transactions which require RBI approval for travel of foreign exchange, that is Schedule 3. So Schedule 3, private visits to any country, gift or donation, going abroad for employment, immigration, maintenance of close relatives, studies abroad, any other current account transaction, expenses in connection with medical treatment abroad, travel for a business or attending a conference or a specialized training, or for meeting medical expenses or checkup abroad, or for accompanying as attendant to a patient going abroad for medical treatment and checkup. These are all related to permission from RBI is required. So okay, right here facilities for next import of goods and services. So export of goods and services, what are the general guidelines for exports and imports. So here now import of goods and services. Now what are the general guidelines, right? Rules and regulations to be followed by the authorized dealer from the foreign exchange angle while undertaking important payment transactions on behalf of their clients are given in this para of section 2 of the master division. Whereas where specific regulations do not exist, authorized dealer may be governed by normal trade practices, and it may particularly harder to know your customer guidelines issued by Reserve Bank in all their dealings. Next, remittances for import payments, obligation of purchaser of foreign exchange, okay, utilization of acquired foreign exchange for the said purpose, evidence of import, mode of payment, other mode in rupees by means of crossed check or a draft. A company or resident in India may make payment in rupees. Time limit for settlement of import payments, okay, extension of time, import of foreign exchange and Indian rupees, import of foreign exchange into India, send into India, bring into India. Okay, import of Indian currency and currency notes, import of guarantees by an authorized dealer. Okay, right. Here, remittances for import payments. Authorized dealer may allow remittance for making payments for imports into India after ensuring that all the requisite details are made available by the importer, and the remittance is for bona fide transactions as per applicable laws in force. Next, obligation of purchaser of foreign exchange. So utilization of acquired foreign exchange for the said purpose. Okay, any person acquiring foreign exchange is permitted to use it either for the purpose mentioned in the declaration made by him to an authorized or for any other purpose for which acquisition of foreign exchange is permissible under the said act or rules or regulations made private thereunder. Evidence of payment. Where foreign exchange acquired has been utilized for import of goods into India, the authorized dealer should ensure that the importer furnishes evidence of import, as in ID, PMS, postal appraisal form, or customs assessment certificate, and satisfy himself that goods equivalent to the value of remittance has been imported. Authorized dealer should ensure that all import remittances outstanding on the notified data of ID, PMS are uploaded in import data processing and monitoring system. Mode of payment. So what is the mode of payment here in case of import of goods and services? So a person resident in a PRI may make payment for import of goods in foreign exchange through an international card or else by as described by Reserve Bank from time to time. Next, other mode. Any person, any PRI may also make payment as in rupees towards meeting expenses on account of boarding, lodging, and services related thereto, or travel to and from and within India of a person resident outside India who is on a visit to India by means of crossed check or a draft, has consideration for purchase of gold or silver in any form imported by such person in accordance with the terms and conditions. Imposed under any order issued by the central government under the Foreign Trade Development and Regulation Act 1992, or under any other law, rules or regulations for the time being in force. A company or resident in India may make payment in rupees to its non-old-time director who is resident outside India and is on a visit to India for the company's work, and is entitled to payment of sitting fees or commission or remuneration and travel expenses to and from and within India in accordance with the provisions contained in the company's memorandum of association or articles of association, or in any agreement entered into it, or in any resolution passed by the company in general meeting or by its board of directors, provided the requirement of any law, rules, regulations, directions applicable for making such payments are duly complied with. Okay, time limit for settlement of import payments. Okay, time limit for normal imports, time limit for deferred payment arrangements. In case of time limit for normal limits, so in terms of exchange regulations, remittances against imports should be completed not later than 6 months from the date of shipment, except in cases where amounts are withheld towards guarantee of performance. In case of time limit for deferred payments of deferred payment arrangements include suppliers and buyers credit up to 5 years. Next, extension of time. Limit of extension. Authorized dealer can consider granting extension of time for settlement of import dues up to a period of 6 months at a time, maximum up to the period of 3 years, irrespective of the invoice value, for delays on account of disputes about quantity or quality or non-fulfillment of terms of contract. Next, circumstances. While granting extension of time, authorized dealer must ensure that first, that import transactions covered by invoices are not under investigation by Directorate of Enforcement, Central Bureau of Investigation, or other investigating agencies. Next, while considering extension beyond 1 year from the date of remittance, the total outstanding of the importer does not exceed $1 million or 10% of the average import remittances during the preceding 2 financial years, whichever is lower, and where extension of time has been granted by the authorized dealer, the date up to which extension has been granted may be indicated in the remarks column. Next, In exceptional cases, cases not covered by the above instructions beyond the above limits may be referred to the concerned regional office of Reserve Bank of India. Noting of the extension, the bill extension period shall be reported in IDPMS as per message bill of entry extension, and the date up to which extension is granted will be indicated extension date column. Next, okay. Next, import of foreign exchange into Indian rupees, import of foreign exchange into India. Next, issue of guarantees by an authorized dealer, import of Indian currency and currency notes, right? Any person resident in India, any person resident in India who had gone out of India on a temporary visit may bring into India at the time of his return from any place outside India other than Nepal and Bhutan. Okay, currency notes of Government of India and Reserve Bank of India, notes up to an amount not exceeding 25,000 rupees. Okay, currency notes of Government of India and Reserve Bank of India notes up to an amount not exceeding 25,000 rupees. A person may bring into India from Nepal the nominal amount denominated up to 100 rupees is permissible. Next, import of Indian currency and currency notes. Next, import of Indian currency and currency notes. Okay, right. Next, issue of guarantees by an authorized dealer. Issue of, okay, limit of providing guarantee. Service provider, where a service importer is other than a public sector company or a department or undertaking of the Government of India, state government, no guarantee for an amount exceeding 5 lakh, no guarantee for an amount exceeding 5 lakhs US dollar or its equivalent shall be issued. So amount of guarantee. Okay, issue of guarantee by an authorized dealer. No guarantee for an amount exceeding, where the service provider in public sector company or a department of undertaking of Government of India, no guarantee for an amount exceeding 1 lakh US dollar or its equivalent shall be issued without the prior approval of the Ministry of Finance and Government of India. Okay. Here, an authorized dealer may, in the ordinary course of his business, give a guarantee in favor of non-resident service provider. Non-resident service provider on behalf of a resident customer who is a service importer subject to such terms and conditions as stipulated by Reserve Bank of India from time to time. Okay, right. Next, an authorized dealer may, subject to the directions issued by Reserve Bank of India in this behalf, permit a person resident in India to issue corporate guarantee in favor of an overseas lessor for financing import through operating lease affected in conformity with foreign trade policy enforced and under the provisions of the Foreign Exchange Management Rules 2000 and the directions issued by Reserve Bank of India under Foreign Exchange Management Act 1999 from time to time. Okay, now I am going to capital account transactions. So in those capital account transactions, we know prohibited capital account transactions, without no restriction capital account transactions, approval from central government transactions, approval from RBI transactions. So here first, yeah, the Reserve Bank may in consultation with the central bank specify any class or classes of capital account transactions which are permissible, the time limit, the limit up to which foreign exchange will be admissible for such a transaction. Okay, right. Here, without prejudicial to the generality of the provision of subsection 2. So here subsection 2 provided that the Reserve Bank shall not impose any restriction on the travel of foreign exchange for payments due on account of amortization of loans or for depreciation of direct investments in the order course of business. So such cases no restriction put to by RBI. But other than this, without prejudicial to the generality of the provision of subsection 2, the Reserve Bank may by regulations prohibit, restrict or regulate the following: transfer issue of any foreign security by a person resident in India. So transfer or issue of any foreign security by a PRI. Okay, transfer or issue of any security by a PROI. Okay, transfer or issue of any security or foreign security by any branch, office or agency in India of a person resident outside India. Any borrowing or lending in foreign exchange in whatever form or whatever name called. Okay, regarding this is next up. Yeah, permissible transactions. So capital account transaction is basically split into the following categories. What are the categories? Transactions which are permissible in respect of persons resident in India and persons resident outside India. Transactions in which a restriction cannot be imposed. So transactions which are prohibited. So schedule 1 PRI, investment by so schedule 1 transaction which are permissible in respect of PRI. So investment by a person, investment by a PRI in foreign securities, so no problem. So foreign currency loans raised in India and abroad by a person resident. Okay, transfer of immovable property outside India by a person resident in India. Guarantees issued by a person resident in India in favor of person resident outside India. Okay. Export, import, and holding of currency and currency notes. So loans and overdrafts by a person resident in India from a person resident outside India. Next, maintenance of foreign currency accounts in India and outside India by a person resident in India. Next, loans and overdrafts by a person resident in India to a person resident outside India. Remittance outside India of capital assets of a person resident in India. Next, schedule 2, the list of permissible transactions which are permissible by PROI. So PROI, investment in India by a PROI, that is to say issue of security, investment by a contribution, next acquisition and transfer of immovable property in India by a person by PROI, guarantee by a person resident outside India in favor of import and export of currency notes into from India by a person resident outside India. Deposits between a person resident in India and person resident outside India. Foreign currency accounts in India of a person resident outside India. Remittance outside India of capital assets in India of a person resident outside India undertake. Okay. Next, transaction with no restrictions. So for amortization, for depreciation related. Prohibited transaction, no person shall undertake or sell, draw foreign exchange to or from an authorized person for any capital account transaction, provided that subject to the provisions of the act or the rules or regulations or directions or orders made or issued thereunder, a resident individual may draw from an authorized person foreign exchange not exceeding $250,000 for financial year or such amount as decided by RBI from time to time. Okay. Right, next, where the drawal of foreign exchange by a resident individual for any capital account transaction specified in Schedule 1 exceeds 250,000 for financial year or as per decided by RBI from time to time as the case may be. No? Okay, right. Next, in the business of chitti fund, as Nidhi company, agricultural plantation activities, real estate business, or in trading in transferable development trading rights. So these are all prohibited. Next, repatriation of sale proceeds. Okay, the immovable property was acquired by the seller in accordance with the provisions of foreign exchange law imposed at the time of acquisition by him or the provision of the amount to be repatriated does not exceed the amount paid for acquisition of the movable property in foreign exchange received through normal banking channels or out of funds held in foreign currency non-resident account. Okay, foreign currency equivalent as on the date of payment of the amount paid where such payment was made from the funds held in non-resident external account for acquisition of the property. And in the case of residential property, the repatriation of sale proceeds is restricted not more than 2 such properties. Okay, right. Next, what are the framework for raising loans through external commercial borrowings? Okay, there are 3: track 1, track 2, track 3. Track 1 medium term, track 2 long term, track 3 Indian rupee denominated external commercial borrowing. Minimum average maturity of 3 to 5 years. Track 2, that is 10 years. Track 1 3 to 5 years. Okay, that is track 1 related to manufacturing sector companies. So track 2 related to long term, right? Track 3 manufacturing sector companies may raise Indian rupee denominated external commercial borrowings with average maturity period of 1 year, right? The term all-in cost includes rate of interest, other fees, expenses, charges, guarantee fees. Okay, forms of external commercial borrowing, loans including bank loans, so securitized instruments, that is floating rate loans and fixed rate bonds, non-convertible, optionally convertible or optionally convertible preferences and debentures, buyer's credit. Okay, supplier's credit, foreign currency convertible bonds, finance lease, and foreign currency exchangeable bonds. Okay, available routes for raising external commercial borrowings. Track 1. So eligible borrowers. Track 1, track 2, track 3. Track 1 companies in manufacturing and software development sectors. And track 1 shipping and airline companies. So so track 1 some companies is there, track 2 some companies is there, track 3 some companies is there. So track 1 companies in manufacturing companies, software development companies, shipping and airline companies, small industrial development, Bank of India, CDB units in special economic zones. Okay, export import Bank of India, Exim only. So companies in infrastructure sector, non-banking financial companies. Okay, track 2 all entities listed under track 1. Next, real estate investment trusts. So these both. Next, track 3 all entities listed under track 2. Okay, all entities listed under track 2. So list 1, list 2, track 1, track 2. Track 3 consists of track 1, track 2. Okay, all non-banking financial companies. Okay, Next, companies engaged in miscellaneous research and development. Okay, developments of economic. These are all track 3. Okay. Next, recognized lender. Here, uh, next, individual limits. What are the individual limits? So the individual limits refer to the amount of external commercial borrowing which can be raised in a financial year under the automatic route. Okay, the individual limits of external commercial borrowing that can be raised by eligible entities under the automatic route for financial year for all the 3 tracks are set out as under. Up to 750 million or the equivalent for the companies in infrastructure and manufacturing sectors, non-banking financial companies, infrastructure finance companies, okay, non-banking financial companies, up to 200 million US dollars or equivalent for companies in software development sector, up to 100 million or equivalent for entities engaged in microfinance, okay, up to 500 million or equivalent for remaining entities, okay. That is next procedure for procedure of raising external commercial borrowings, routing of funds raised abroad in India, okay, right. Next, next, export of goods and services. Export of goods and services. Okay, before we only discussed about import of goods and services. Now export of goods and services. Every exporter of goods sell furnished to the Reserve Bank or to such other, right. Every exporter of goods sell furnished to the Reserve Bank or to such other authority a declaration in such form and in such manner as may be specified, containing true and correct material particulars, including the amount representing the full export value or if the full export value of goods is not ascertainable at the time of export. The value which the exporter, having regard to the prevailing market conditions, expects to receive on the sale of goods into market in India. Next, furnish to the Reserve Bank such other information as may be required by the Reserve Bank for the purpose of ensuring regulation of export proceeds by such exporter. Next, requirements. What are the some important definitions of export? What is export? What is export value? What is form? What is software? What is specified authority? So what is export? Includes taking or sending out of goods by land, sea or air on consignment or by way of sale, lease, hire purchase or under any other arrangement by whatever name called, and in the case of software also include transmission through any electronic media. Export value in relation to export by way of lease, okay, by way of lease or hire purchase or under any other similar arrangement includes the charges by whatever name called payable in respect of such lease or hire purchase or any other similar arrangement. Next, form means form annexed to these regulations. Next, software means any computer program, database, drawing, design, audio and video signals in any information, uh, by whatever name called or in any medium other than or on any physical medium, right. Specified authority means the person or the authority to whom the declaration is specified in regulation. Next, declaration of exports in case of exports taking place through customs and manual force, okay. Next, exemptions. Export of goods and software may be made without furnishing the declaration in the following cases, namely trade samples of goods and publicity materials supplied free of payment, personal effects of travelers, whether accompanied or unaccompanied, ships, stores, or transshipment, cargo and goods supplied under the orders of central government by way of gift of goods accompanied by a declaration by the exporter that they are not more than 5 lakh rupees in value, okay. Aircrafts and aircraft engines and spare parts for overhauling, okay, goods imported free of cost on re-export basis, okay. Next, replacement goods exported free of charge in accordance with the provisions of foreign trade policy in force from the time being, okay. Next, authority to whom declaration is to be furnished and the manner of dealing with declaration form EDF declaration in form SOFTEX. It shall be submitted. Declaration form EDF. It shall be submitted in duplicate to the Commissioner of Customs after verification and authentication of the declaration form. The Commissioner of Customs shall forward the original declaration form and data to the nearest of the Reserve Bank and hand over the duplicate form to the exporter for being submitted to the authorized dealer. Right? Declaration in form SOFTEX. It shall be in respect of export of computer software and audio and video television software submitted in triplicate to the designated official of Ministry of Information Technology, Government of India at the software technology parks of India, or at the free trade zones or special economic zones in India. After certifying all three copies of Softex form, the designated officials will forward the original directly to the nearest office, the office of the Reserve Bank, and return the duplicate to the exporter. The triplicates shall be retained by the designated official. The triplicates shall be retained by the designated official for record. That is regarding. Next, evidence in support of declaration. Okay. Next, manner of payment of export value of goods. Next, period within which export value of goods and software services to be realized. So within 9 months from the date of export, right? Next, however, where the goods are exported to a warehouse established outside India, so within 15 months from the date of shipment of goods in respect of that one. Extension of periods. Further, the Reserve Bank are subject to the directions issued by that bank. In this way, the authorized dealer may, by sufficient and reasonable cost, extend the period 9 months or 15 months as the case may be. Right? Next. Next, authorized person. Who is a authorized person? So, the Reserve Bank may, on an application made to it in his behalf, authorize any person to be known as authorized person to deal in foreign exchange or in foreign securities as an authorized dealer, money changer, or offshore banking unit, or any other manner. Okay, right. Reserve Bank's powers to issue directions to authorized person. Power of Reserve Bank to inspect authorized person. Okay, what are the contraventions and penalties in brief? Okay, section 11. In case contravene the section 11, authorized person contravenes any direction by RBI, so penalty up to 10,000. If continuing offence, additional penalty 2,000 rupees per day. Okay, section 30. In case contravene of section 3, that is of any provision of the act or any rule, regulation, notification, or direction or order or any condition subject to which authorized unauthorized issue. So up to 3 times the sum involved if it is quantifiable. If not quantifiable, up to 2 lakhs. So if continuing, further penalty up to 5,000 rupees per day after its okay. Next, failure to pay penalty as above. Section contravene section 14. Failure to pay penalty as above, where demand is of an amount exceeding 1 crore up to 3 years civil imprisonment, in any other case up to 6 months. Okay, right. Next, section 13 subsection 1A and 1C. Acquired any foreign exchange, foreign security, or immovable property situated outside India of the aggregate value exceeding the threshold, so up to 3 times the sum involved, confiscation of the value of property. Next, imprisonment up to 5 years. Okay. Next, compounding of offences. So period of compounding of an offence compounded within 180 days from the date of receipt of application by the Directorate of Enforcement. Okay. Next, adjudication and appeal. Full penalty to be paid. So adjudication and appeal. So section 14, full penalty to be paid. So within 90 days from the date on which notice for payment of penalty is served. Next, section 15 regarding compounding of contravention under section 13 within 180 days of receipt of application by Directorate of Enforcement or RBI. Okay. Next, here appointment of adjudicating authority. For the purpose of adjudication under section 13, the central government may, by an order published in the official gazette, appoint as many officers of the central government as it may think fit as adjudicating authorities for holding an inquiry in the manner prescribed after the giving person alleged to have committed contravention under section 13 against whom a complaint has been made. Okay. Next, every adjudicating authority shall deal with the complaint as expeditiously as possible and endeavour shall be made to dispose the complaint finally within 1 year from the date of receipt of the complaint. Next, appeal to Special Director Appeals. Next, appeal to Appellate Tribunal. Next, appeal to High Court. Appeal to High Court. Okay. Next, Directorate of Enforcement. So the central government shall establish a Directorate of Enforcement with a director and such other officers or class of officers as it may thinks fit, who shall be called officers of enforcement for the purpose of this act. Okay. Next, yeah, now I'm going to some multiple choice questions. So here in September 2016, Mr. P went to USA, London and Germany on a month long business trip. Okay, for this trip he got exchanged $50,000 from an authorized dealer. In December 2016, he remitted $50,000 to his son in Canada, who was studying there. In January 2017, he sent his mother and wife to America for his mother's treatment, and for the purpose he remitted $75,000 to his younger brother who was living there. In March 2017, his daughter got engaged and she opted for a destination marriage to be held in May 2017 in Switzerland. Okay, while on trip to Dubai in the March end 2017, he spent 35,000 US dollar for his daughter's shopping in Dubai. Later, the event manager gave an estimate amount of 250,000 for the wedding. So, as per the provisions of Foreign Exchange Management Act, for how much remitted, he need to take prior approval of RBA. So, here, so 50,000 US dollar for from authorized dealer for business trip. So 50,000, 50,000, 1 lakh dollars. Next 75,000, 35,000. So total 2 lakh $10,000. So he does not need any approval at all. So up to 2 lakh 50,000 US dollar under liberalized remittance scheme is freely available to the public. So next second. Mr. Jed was appointed as representative of ABC company for a corporate program organized in USA. During the said period in USA, he was diagnosed with a severe kidney disease. So decided to have a kidney transplant done in USA. So state the maximum amount that can be drawn by. So that is an estimated such amount estimated by an medical institute. So that is one. Next, Mr. Ram had resided in India during the financial year 1718 for less than 183 days. So he again came to India on 1st May 2018 for higher studies and business and stayed up to 15th July 2019. So state the correct answer as to the residency status of Mr. Ram in the light of the given fact as per the Foreign Exchange Management Act 1999. Okay. Here, so the financial year 1718, so less than he stayed less than 182. So 1819 financial year 1819 actually is not a person resident in India. So but person resident in India. So Mr. Ram cannot be considered a person resident in India during the financial year 1818. But for 1920, he is a person resident in India. That we know. Next is some practical problems and some practical questions. So here, Printex Computer is a Singapore-based company having several business units all over the world. It has a unit for manufacturing computer printers with its headquarters in Pune. So it has a branch in Dubai which is controlled by the headquarters in Pune. So what would be the residential status under the FEMA of printer units in Pune and that of Dubai branch. So here wholly owned. So here controlled by Pune branch. So right. We are a person resident in India. Okay. Next, Mr. Ram had resided in India during the financial year 14-15 for less than 183 days. So he again came to India on 1st May 2015 for higher studies and business and stayed up to 15th July 2006. Stayed under the Foreign Exchange Management Act 1999. So if Mr. Ram can be considered person resident in India during the financial year 15-16 and is citizenship relevant for determining such a status. You know, so 14-15 he stayed less than 183 days. So 15-16 is not a person resident in India, notwithstanding any purpose and any duration. So next, citizenship is not a criteria to treat a person resident in India, person resident outside India. Citizenship is not a criteria. So here staying is the criteria. Next, Mr. Sen, an Indian national, desires to obtain foreign exchange for the following purposes: remittance of 50,000 US dollars out of winning a lottery ticket. So here RBI permission is required. It is prohibited transaction. Lottery, it is a prohibited. So US dollar 1 lakh for sending a cultural troops. So central government permission is required. So Ministry of Human Resource. Next, state what kind of approval is required. So X, a film star, wants to perform. So here central government permission, or wants to get his heart surgery done at United. So RBI permission is required in such case. Next, referring to the provisions of Foreign Exchange Management Act, examine whether we an exporter is bound to make declaration on gift export. So up to 5 lakhs. So not required. Not required. Next, referring to the provisions of Foreign Exchange Management Act 1999, state the kind of approval. So Mr. M requires 5,000 euro for remittance towards higher charges of transponder. So central government permission is required. Central government permission for remittance. Next, P requires 2,000 per payment related to call. It is a prohibited transaction. Next, Mr. Suresh resided in India during the financial year 13-14. He left India on 15th July 2014 for Switzerland for pursuing higher studies in biotechnology for 2 years. What would be his residential status under the Foreign Exchange Management Act during the financial year 14-15, 15-16? Okay, Mr. Suresh requires every year 25,000 US dollar towards tuition fees and so here 55,000 rupees per year. So not require any RBI approval. Not require any RBI approval. Next, Mrs. Chandra, a resident outside India, is likely to inherit from her father some immovable property in India. So, are there any restrictions under the provisions of Foreign Exchange Management Act 1999 in acquiring or holding such property? State whether Mrs. Chandra can sell the property and repatriate outside India. So, this is capital account transaction related question. Next, question 9. So, Mr. P has won a big lottery and wants to remit 20,000. So, this is prohibited transaction. Mr. Z is unwell and would like to have a kidney. So, medical institute. So, estimated amount of medical institute is required. So, RBI permission is regarding. Next, Mr. Rohan, an Indian resident individual, desires to obtain foreign exchange for the following purposes. So, 1 lakh US to 1,20,000 US for studies abroad on the basis of estimate given by foreign university. So, it is allowable transaction. Give to remittance amount of 10,000 US up to 5 lakhs. It is allowable. Next, advise him whether he can foreign exchange, and if so, this is okay. This is Foreign Exchange Management Act 1999. So I hope it is useful you. Please subscribe my channel. Please like it, share it and comment. Please stay tuned on my channel. Thank you.